So I read Gone with the Wind for my summer assignment. Here it is. Gone with the Wind is a story of a young woman who has to change and adapt to harsh situations that occurred during the Civil War. The novel offers a glimpse into the life and attitude of the Confederacy, which is often neglected in historical studies. Gone with the Wind was written in 1936 by Margaret Mitchell, who had grown up listening to war stories about the Confederacy and the Civil War. She used these experiences along with extensive research to write this great American classic. And now for the character analysis. Scarlett O'Hara. Scarlett is the heroine of the book. She is a native of Georgia and lives on her family's cotton plantation, called Tara. The area she is from, called the county, is a plantation-based society where the elite planter class rules the social and economic livelihood. In this community, Scarlett is known as the belle of the county. Every girl wants to be her and every man wants to marry her. Scarlett learned from a young age how to earn the favor of a male and how to manipulate people, so she always ended up on top. And although her womanly good graces and manners far surpass those of any girl in the county, Scarlett possesses a sharp intelligence that is hidden behind her faked smiles and eyelash flutters. As the book progresses, Scarlett's blessed life crumbles around her as the war takes place. As she overcomes hardship after hardship, the readers begin to see how her so-called unwomanly traits helped her survive in a war-ravaged world. Her single-minded determination to survive above all costs, and her willingness to do anything it takes set her aside from the other characters in that era. Rhett Butler is one of Scarlett's main love interests in the novel, and plays an important part. Rhett is endlessly amused with Scarlett's initial pre-war way of life, and his conceited arrogance both fascinate and appeal to Scarlett. She has never met anyone who was so willing to speak the truth without changing it to make it acceptable in society. For example, during a men's discussion about starting a war with the Yankees, Rhett offers his complete opinion. He calls the Southerners so stuck in their arrogant ways that they do not see how strong the North is compared to them. This was the complete opposite of the orthodox opinion that was characteristic of all Southern men, that the South and their cause were unbeatable. His ability to completely see through Scarlett's dramatic ruses and her crafty, flirtatious nature make him an interesting catalyst in Scarlett's life. Ashley Wilkes is the other main love interest of Scarlett's. He lives in the county with her before the war and was considered as one of her many beaux. His personality was much more complex than the other men Scarlett knew, and for that she never completely understood him. While he was proficient in the manly arts of hunting, shooting, and writing, his passion resided in books, music, and poetry. He was a thinker and often spent his days lazing around and contemplating his various literary works. Despite all of this, Scarlett felt, what she thought at the time, a deep love for him. They were polar opposites. Where she was single-minded and practical, Ashley was complex and a dreamer. But as time wore on, and Scarlett was denied him and his love, her own infatuation deepened. Later in the novel, she finally realizes that her infatuation with Ashley is just that, an infatuation that was strengthened by time and yearning. They're too different for either of them to be happy with each other. Another important character is Melanie Wilkes, who is Scarlett's eventual best friend. Mellie has a huge influence on Scarlett's life, although Scarlett initially refuses to acknowledge it. At first, Scarlett hated Melanie with all her heart because Melanie was Ashley's wife. Scarlett could not believe that Ashley would choose Melanie over herself, and took out her disbelief and pain of being rejected out on Melanie. Mellie was sweet, naive, and innocent. She never failed to see the good in people and was kind to everyone, whether they deserved it or not. Melanie slowly worked her way into Scarlett's heart, and by the end of the novel, Scarlett realized that Melanie was the only true girlfriend that she had ever possessed. Melanie represented all that was still innocent and undamaged in a war-ruined world. The most prominent theme is inner strength and the mental ability to overcome even the most difficult of obstacles. Throughout the book, Scarlett demonstrates this theme over and over again in her post-war quest for safety and security. She uses her cunning and her wit to get what she wants and does not let anything stand in her way. Scarlett quickly adapts to the only the strong survive mentality and is not afraid to break out of the status quo in order to survive. Another theme is the theory of feminism. Scarlett had to take unwomanly action when her survival and other survival depended on her. Despite the importance of reputation in society, she still did anything she had to in order to support herself and the people who depended on her. third recurring theme is the general effect of the war on Southern life. Before the war, Scarlett and the people in her social class lived comfortably and were prosperous. Life in the county had an aesthetic appeal to it. But the surreal plantation life slowly crumbled until it vanished completely through the course of the war. The trivial and unproductive pursuits, like hunting and riding for pleasure, that were commonplace before the war became a waste of time in the post-war struggle. Although the wealth and the easy living of the South had vanished, people still clung to their traditions and society. My personal reflection on the book. This book provided a unique perspective that I have not seen before, the perspective of the South during the Civil War. In most history books, the South is made out to be the enemy during this particular era, and this book provides some insight on the conditions and societal circumstances that might have contributed to the differing mentalities between the North and the South. By using a character that was born and bred in the South, Margaret Mitchell educates her readers on the culture and general livelihood of the South.